Okay, hi guys. Okay. Hi. Happy Tuesday. I am reading a new book which I haven't read. I've been meaning to read it. Yeah. So today I decided to read something different from the Feminism is a collection, because normally I read every Tuesday. I read from feminist text. Sorry about that. Okay. So hi Snazo. Hello. So I decided to read this because I got it last year when it released. Um, Unrelated, I need those earrings. They were a gift. They were a gift from my sister. I will ask where she got them, but it could be, yeah. Thank you. We'll talk. So I decided to read this because I keep seeing the title keeps on popping up like every time I look at my bookcase, right? And I thought, you know what? Let me just see what it's about, because I know it starts with a prologue because it is a memoir. I thought that would actually be amazing, and the one of the shout outs on the cover is by Sarah Jane King Makwala, who is the author of Killing Caroline. Um, she says Kelly Eve Koopman brilliantly rewrites herself and all of us whose identities have been smudged, mishapen, and erased back into existence. South Africa needs this book. So I thought, whew. So the cover spoke to me firstly, because I feel like it was a selfie, but it actually ended up being like such a good. Oh, it looks gorgeous. I love it. And I love memoirs, so that's the other reason why I bought it. I love memoirs. I love ke rata ditaba, low key, you know, low key. So yeah. And Barbara Boswell, author of Grace, says this about this book: a story for our times. Koopman's writing dazzles as it shines a light on the darkest crevices of broken families and psyches. Like Sindatu says, the title is quite interesting. Yeah, I was also I was also grabbed by the title, and I figured, you know what, I'm gonna go on the title and just the cover, and that's it. I didn't even need to read the back of the book. I just took it because maybe it was because it's not even because it was a sale. No, um, I was just curious, like this title. I mean, because I couldn't kill you. There's so many things that one can think of. Um, like Mutari, because I couldn't kill you. So I was like, this book I gotta have. So let me read the back of the book, and then we will. I actually found her bio um, on, I think it's an NGO that did like that did a profile of her. But yeah, Kelly Eve Koopman say this is her debut actually. In shattered fantasy of Rainbow Nation South Africa, there are many uncomfortable truths. Among these are family secrets, the legacies of traumas in the homes and bones of ordinary South Africans. In this debut collection, feminist Kelly Eve Koopman grapples with the complex beauty and brutality of the everyday as she struggles with her family legacy. She tries unsuccessfully to forget her father, an unbattled journalist and anti-apartheid activist, desperately mentally ill and expertly emotionally abusive, who has recently disappeared, leaving behind a wake of difficult memories. Ms. Vana says, I thoroughly enjoyed her session at SA Book Fair last year. Yeah. Hello. Okay. Oh, guys, my complex and these black scooters, ne? It's in the morning, it's in the evening. Ooh, and the twins also have them. Anyway, so I try and fill the gaps, piecing the skeleton of my personal history together with broken evidence, like an archaeologist who, from the safe distance that time allows, can cast the bones of the prehistoric creature, no longer terrifying. But even then, when relics and fossils are lovingly and painstakingly pieced together and studied, the theories we build around these can be vulnerable to conjecture. Sorry, I just feel uncomfortable. Mesmerizingly, Koopman wades through the flotsam and jetsam of generations among shipwrecks and sunken treasures in an attempt at familial and collective healing. Sometimes tragic, sometimes hilarious, she faces up to herself as a brown, newly privileged elder millennial, caught between middle-class aspirations and social justice ideals. An artist, a daughter, a queer woman in love, she is in pursuit of healing while trying to lose those last 5 kilograms, to the great disappointment of her feminist self. And the bio at the back of the book says Kelly Eve Koopman is one of the co-creators of Colored Mentality. She is a multidisciplinary storyteller who dreams of a more just and equal South Africa. And the one that I read was Kelly Eve Koopman, is a community leader that uses her many disciplines to propel social change. She has worked in both the theater and film industry and has used these creative skills to develop, implement, and commandeer initiatives that drive social transformation. She's also a co-creator of Colored Mentality, which is a platform that has become a unique interactive storytelling space for colored community. Kelly is one of 3 directors of FEM Projects, a non-profit organization that facilitates workshops on female empowerment in rural communities. Over the past 3 years, the program has served 4,000 young women in 20 disenfranchised schools in the Western Cape. I know Colored Mentality is a web series. The last episode that I saw online on their YouTube was a year ago. So I'm not sure. Maybe Kelly Eve Koopman can be reached on her Twitter and Instagram. Okay, I'm gonna start with the prologue, and then we will start. I think. Let me see how long the prologue is. Okay, maybe I will just read the prologue because it is quite long. Okay, it reads like it's quite long because there's 4 pages. Yeah, 4 pages. But this is Because I Couldn't Kill You. On her feminist struggle, missing father, and the myths of memory. I know I read an interview of hers where she said writing this book was very difficult. Writing a memoir is very difficult because you have to deal with your memory. Like, I can't imagine. A brief history of sameness. I have come to my childhood home to fight fair with writer's block on home turf, to pin down the evasive muse at the source of my creation, amongst familiar old ghosts, amongst the dusty artifacts of self, the porcelain dolls, the illustrated encyclopedias, the well-worn single bed that will always recognize my shape. Here where I am brought coffee in a matching cup and saucer, and the sheets are quietly turned down in anticipation of a good night's rest, where there is still white bread and white sugar, and cook sisters awaiting their turn to be syruped and zealously rolled in coconut. This is why I am here, in the quiet of the suburbs that in my teens I could not wait to run away from. Glenhaven, a place where at first glance it seems that time has generously stood still. This has been a coloureds only suburb for about 45 years. Coloureds only as declared by the NP government, a place which, like many places, has stayed exactly the same decades later. The first black and first white families moved in pretty much simultaneously when I was in my early teens, sending a minor shock ripple through the neighborhood. Soon afterwards, because of Glenhaven's proximity to UWC, the university that my mother dedicated her academic career to, there was an influx of trendy young black students sharing the well-prized, neat and secure houses. They walk through the streets at night, arms confidently linked, talking and laughing, and have parties with loud gqom music. While the area is home to people who recognize that it's not good etiquette to be outright racists, there is the generic, familiar tone of othering when referring to the young black newcomers. There has also been a marked increase in the number of neighborhood watch type WhatsApp groups and murmurs about culture clashes, words that, despite their best efforts, can barely veil the implicit racism. The neighborhood has always more than tolerated the existence of colored teenagers and 30-year-old baby daddies who, despite having mid-managerial level careers, never move out of the bed and breakfasts of their mummies' homes. These youths who park cars outside the tennis courts and skelempies drink in their dropped cars, recognizable by the murmuring bass of deep house, very similar to gqom but regarded with much more tolerance, or a turn up in very clean and well-furnished yachts when their parents are away on holiday to Club Mykonos, thereby Langaban, not to be confused with Mykonos in Greece or in Thailand even, if your parents are those who have a double-story house and a pool. The perfunctory trip to Thailand has become the Hajj of middle-class colored culture, modest conspicuous consumption in the form of a Kontiki trip. These mildly disaffected youths are tolerated. There is the mutual understanding that these are kids under the firm hand of parents and grandparents who are expected to, for the most part, conform to the code of the suburbs and move out to become accountants and HR managers, buy in the neighborhood, move on to other respectable colored suburbs, or perhaps even permit the more gourmet vestiges of the Boerewors curtain, the Durbanville Hills and the Stellenbosch, where the white Afrikaans Janse van Rensburgs will regard this new influx of unsightly colored young professionals with the same attitude the Jacobs of Belleville South regard the influx of young black scholars. My grandparents were one of the 3 first families to move into the area. The founding fathers, pioneers navigating the rough terrain from working to middle class. They started building the closest they could get to their dream house on a sandy, vacant, treeless plot flanked by the nylon spinners factory on one side. Safe and sequestered and still technically on land that was the Cape Flats. This was the perfect place to engineer their painstakingly difficult ascent into the brown middle class. My grandmother went to Teachers Training College. The pinnacle of a colored woman's education at the time was to be a respected sub-A teacher. My grandfather started off as a worker, quickly climbed the ranks as a factory manager, and found himself gratefully able to afford living room suits, Christmas presents, and good educations for all 3 of his bright, lucky children. Their house, which they named Oasis, was the first one built on the street, ranch style with big windows, a gleaming stoop, and a meticulously cultivated rose garden. The house lived up to its name, and almost every one of their children and grandchildren at some point going through a difficult time, seeking some kind of refuge and release, has returned to its sturdy suburban walls. I, too, return to write this book. I dare not spill my coffee on the pristine white cloth on the dining room table with small roses embroidered at the edges. I have a view of what was once the lawn but has now been recently paved. My grandparents, who have always been very attentive to their plants, have, after much deliberation, laid over the sparse, tufty expanse that has slowly succumbed to the inevitable dereliction of the drought. Across the road is the parkie, which has managed to evade any kind of government attention and still boasts the same rusty roundabout and precarious tire swings from my childhood. The sepia fragments of faded, broken Black Label and Brutal Fruit bottles are relics abandoned by colored teens who have now gone on to drink Merlot and buy Weber's. The neat, sprawling ranch-style houses and spilt-level bungalows overlooking the parkie's offensively disordered archaeology cast their eyes down in shame and disdain. This is a nice neighborhood, after all, and if it weren't for the evidence of the parkie and marked absence of trees, it could even be mistaken for a white area. The houses have heavy eyelids weighted down with netting and thick, frilly curtains that are meant to stop outsiders looking in, but do not prevent insiders from looking out. In the center of the parkie, squat and with a prowess that seems to defy the inevitability of power cuts, there is the militaristic-looking krachbox that I was always told was too dangerous to approach. Oh, okay, the energy box. It is lovingly decorated with the prerequisite graffiti, different names making declarations of love and loathing in different ways, but always in the same font. The Helvetica Revolution has not yet made its way to the deep north. My grandfather is in Lenny Kravitz tinted glasses to protect his eyes post-cataract operation. He wears the tints for driving, which he does confidently at 85. Sure, he still drives at 85. He glances at my coffee cup and my uncapped pens, which I realize are a danger to the piety of the pristine tablecloth. I ask him what he's doing today, and he simply says he is at your grandmother's disposal. He has already taken her to the hospital for a checkup. She recently had her second hip replacement and is currently helping her spoon jam onto rows of gravity-defying scones. The secret ingredient is plain yogurt. Oh wow, thank you. And will shortly be driving her to her women's meeting at the church. Of course, women of the faith have different issues than the men, and I sometimes imagine they are plotting to overthrow the religious patriarchy over lamingtons and rooibos. Oh, can they please? He will fetch her as soon as the meeting is over. They will take an afternoon nap together. She will make sure he takes his heart medication, make sure the clothes in the house are clean, and buy him new socks when the old ones sink into his shoes like tsotsies. They're cute. Theirs is a marriage pegged on quiet and dedicated acts of service and acute attention to detail, a beautiful exchange. The sounds of devout industry emanate from the kitchen. My grandparents are firm believers in the idle hands philosophy, as well as the proximity of cleanliness to godliness maxim. I am grateful. I think the commitment to activity and the kind of reliable, consistent fellowship offered by the church has kept them relatively healthy and has added years to their cumulative lifespans. My grandfather is being accused of putting too much jam in the middle of the scones, ruining the delicate jam to cream ratio. He defers, promises to use only a level spoon. While conservative gender roles may seem concrete, whenever I am around them, there are the glorious nuances that threaten the foundations of the heteronormative tradition. One day my grandfather sat me down and tried to explain the virtues of stewardship to me. I don't think I understood. We have often had conversations around certain biblical chapters and verses. He has always been in love with the Lord, and I once also shared this infatuation with the Bible. As a child, I went to sleep clutching my special leather-bound King James, mainly because I thought nothing bad could happen to me or my family if I dutifully consumed verse after verse every single night. I especially believed that murderers from within or without could not come and savagely slaughter us if I was clinging to the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Above my head hangs the reproduction of the Last Supper, in the same position it always has been, as if to represent the exemplary art of dinner, complete with gossip and requisite backstabbing. Beneath the painting is the locked display cupboard filled with sets of function glasses, sherry glasses, champagne glasses, martini glasses, all displayed in a vehemently dry household. A household occupied by those who always carry the trauma, the fear of the scourge of addictions, alcohol, drugs, the vice grips that could asphyxiate the dreams of stability and success in their infancy. I'm about halfway through this book, which is meant to be a memoir without a hook, a chronicle of a relatively ordinary life, marked by some minor successes and the everyday. I am here to try and finish it. I've been sabotaging myself, actively seeking out distraction with the ocean, my partner, friends, Twitter, and Netflix. I have already indulged in 2 pirated episodes of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, things the house needs from the Checkers, and the ubiquitous temptation of just one drink, with whatever friends I mercifully have left, considering my reputation for cancelling or forgetting about social plans, which even for a Cape Townian is impressive. It's a Saturday afternoon. I'm still in pajamas and trying to finish this sentence before my battery cuts out. Load shedding. I'm not used to Belleville's blackout schedule and have been caught unprepared because I forgot to put the Belleville South area code in the HCOM scheduling app. Oh. Usually I'd have my phone charged and my laptop juiced up, but today, having found myself in this unfamiliar, intimate environment, I've been caught unprepared. Here in the pristine, loving house I grew up in, amidst the gleam of furniture polish and the smell of baking, I am tempted to shut out the echoes of violence. This is a temptation I've had to resist since childhood. The longing to resist the residue of madness held close in the walls and the floors, no matter how many times they have been scrubbed, like the ghosts that will not be evicted from my heart, no matter how much I am loved. Woo! This is perhaps a place to begin. Sunday morning, and my grandparents are on a post-church high. Wow, I love her grandparents. There is tea to be brewed. There are new koek sisters to be syruped and rolled in coconut. There are new, tidy things. Okay, so there is tea to be brewed. There are new koek sisters to be syruped and rolled in coconut. Tidy things to be further tidied in anticipation of visitors. The visitors, a recurrent theme from my childhood nightmares. The distant relatives or church aunties and uncles. As kids, no matter how we try to duck and dive, pretending to be asleep or inundated with debilitatingly complex homework, we always had to go in for the powdery kiss, the obligatory report about our school marks, and the ever-present possibility of a comment about any perceived changes in weight or general appearance. If you didn't greet, not only were you going to be considered a rude child, the antithesis of a good child, and risk bringing eternal shame and dishonor upon your family name, you also would not be given the milk tart, donuts, and aforementioned homemade scones with a secret plain yogurt ingredient. Oh, I'm so grateful for the secret ingredient. Under the worst of circumstances, you might be expected to sing for the people, recite something, or regale the company with tales of certificates, A+, and all other pre-adolescent accomplishments. Luckily, I have outgrown this phase and am no longer expected to stand on the dining room steps and sing, but I am expected to be clean, presentable, and follow through with the liturgy of the visit. The visitors, apart from maybe a handful of mean-spirited old women and particularly patriarchal gentlemen of the clergy, are generally very nice people. And more than the actual visitors themselves, the rites of the visit have given this good Christian ritual its sinister occult status. This is why as soon as today's visitors arrive, family from abroad, I hurry to complete the perfunctory kisses. I'm told I am looking more and more like my mother, and then abruptly rush into what was once my childhood room. Before I put my headphones on, I hear fragments of conversation through the walls. One of the visitors, an uncle-in-law who I have maybe met twice in my life, is a respected minister with a PhD in theology. I hear him use the phrase race card, and am happy to be exempt from a no doubt I don't know how to pronounce this word, virulently racist conversation. I'll Google it later. Thinly cloaked under the vestments of neoliberist politics. If the good minister was my Facebook friend, he would have found himself blocked. They have moved on from politics to religion. I can't say I'm relieved. I hear the beginnings of some kind of proverb. Proverbs 31, verse 10 to be exact. The acoustics of the house, with its wood and tile floors, means you can eavesdrop on conversations pretty successfully. He starts speaking and my skin crawls a bit in recognition of the tone. He speaks with the unmistakable authoritarian tone of preachers and pastors afflicted with lust for the power of the pulpit. It is a convivial yet paternalistic and chastising cadence, often deployed to deride women in some way. Who can find a virtuous woman, he says, for her price is far above rubies. The rest goes a bit fuzzy until his voice rises again, delivering the punchline. A good woman is a woman who doesn't talk out of the house. There it is, not verbatim from the mouth of the Lord, but it might as well be. I know this lesson well enough. Good women do not talk out of the house. That was the prologue, and it is titled A Brief History of Sameness. I think I like Kelly Eve's writing. Yeah, I think I like it. I just finished reading from Because I Couldn't Kill You by Kelly Eve Koopman. Let me see if there are any comments. Okay, I read the one with Ms. Vina saying she thoroughly enjoyed Kelly Eve's session at last year's essay book fair. She was part of the panel. I'm not sure what session was that. Lit X-Space says, I love how she's adding authentic colored slang. It's like she's your colored friend. Yeah, right? It's relatable. I like how she's painting the picture of her neighborhood. Hi Makanaka. Hello everybody. Opa has style wearing Lenny Kravitz shades. I know, right? I know my dad used to have these Ray-Bans. Okay, my dad is not 85, but he has style. So I relate to this Opa. And I mean 85 and still driving. Like, I like that. As Intatu says, these adorable references to her grandparents' relationship is giving me the feels, right? Oh, guys, I want to grow old with my man, you know, like, so my grandkids can be writing things about me. Yeah, yes, Intatu, her writing is so tenderly and intimate. Yes, it's so lovely. Ms. Weiner. So Sharon says, this inspires me to write about my family. Right, please do. Our stories are so important, guys. Like, just write. Please do. Put it on a blog, whatever. Just publish. Last night I saw Margaret Busby closing off Afro-Lit Frontiers Virtual Literary Festival with Zukis Vaner. And I don't know why do I call her that, like her surname Warner, but I know it's Wenner. But anyway, maybe so Margaret was saying, like, publishing is everywhere. It's like putting your work out anyway. It can be in a book, it can be on a website, it can be on a blog, it can be that's publishing. Just publish. Just write our stories. Write your family story. Sharon. Snazza says, I was about to say her grandparents are angels, right? So sweet. I like the whole baking, the whole routine that they have, you know. Zindatu says, my mom still expects me to put on a performance for visitors by breaking into song before prayer. Zindatu, our mothers though, ne? Yo, Yes, Ms. Vina knows. Oh, that's goals. Ms. Vina says, you want to have your avocado tree and Merlot moment. Yes, you know. Those moments, those are the things that I want to have. Oh, I know I haven't read part one of this book, but I feel like that prologue it just painted a picture. I know it didn't paint a picture of what is in the description about her father and how she was emotionally abused, but I guess you'll have to buy the book to find out, right? So that was Because I Couldn't Kill You by Kelly Eve Koopman, and it is published by Jacana. So I think if you want more information, please go on to Goodreads and jacana.co.za. And also check out Jacana's plea for assistance with regards to pressing print. I think that's the hashtag, press print. Just follow Jacana and support. So I think I will also be reading like a Jacana title maybe every week, just to help to nudge you a bit, so that you can support the publishing house in this time. Like, it's trying times, guys. Like every industry is hit hard because of COVID and the lockdown, and yeah. So publishing houses, bookstores are reaching out for assistance. Yeah, I think I've noticed one bookstore that asked for assistance as well. But yeah, like, just support, read books, buy books every month, buy a book, shout out to an author, so that your followers can see their work, yeah. I think that's about it for today, and I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I hope I did encourage you to pick up a book, buy a book. Sharon says, thanks, definitely getting this book. Yay! I think I will be reading I think I will read some more on Kelly Eve's work. I know there is an article that was on the Sunday Times book. Is it Books Live? I'm not sure if it's still Books Live, but I know on the Sunday Times, I think it's timeslive.co.za. They have a book section, and yeah, I think check that out. They have a book section where they interviewed her, so maybe you can get into understanding her thinking while she was writing the book. That would also help. Ms. Weiner says, I will buy it for my teenage daughter. Kelly is such a powerful, inspirational youth leader. See, I'm glad 2 books are going to be bought. Yes. Thank you, guys. I will see you tomorrow for the Gerald Kruk anthology reading. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so every Wednesday I read from the Gerald Kruk anthology. I will see you tomorrow. For those who came in later and they didn't start with the reading, you will find it on IGTV in the next minute, and I will save it up onto YouTube, on the YouTube channel. I'll be loading up yesterday's video tonight as well. So yeah, Zindatu says, I saw it on sale at Bargain Books, but I didn't know it then. Definitely going back for it. Yes. Oh, awesome. Great stuff. I think there's your plug. It is at Bargain Books as well. It's on sale, so go get the book, guys. Salz, I'm so sorry you're late. You'll watch the IGTV. Bye, guys. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.